Alright guys, welcome to the channel. If you guys are new here, welcome back if you guys are subscribed. And today we're going to be working on the engine that came out of the Marauder. We're going to be taking off the upper and lower intake manifold, also the fuel rail, because I want to get those injectors clean and I want to clean out that fuel rail as well. So let's get into today's video. Alright guys, so it is raining today, as you guys can see, so I'm gonna have to switch to my waterproof camera just to make sure that this one doesn't get messed up. But this is not hard to do. The biggest issue is if your EGR bolts, those exhaust bolts there, are stuck. Once they aren't, this should be a very simple job. You take off the 8 bolts that hold on the upper intake, and I believe it's 10 or 8 bolts that hold on the lower intake, and also the 4 bolts for the alternator bracket, and it should come right up. Fuel rail has 4 bolts. I think they're 4 10mm bolts, 2 on each side, and then the injectors will come right up as well. So I'm gonna switch to my head cam and start the video. Alright, so first thing you want to do is get a ratchet. You don't need an extension, but I just put one on because it is handy. And then you need a 10mm socket to break free the bolts for the EGR. Alright, first bolt is out. Just gonna rest it right there. Alright, second bolt is out. Now you have a bracket, and I believe it's 2 10mm bolts, one on top. And one on the side. You're gonna have to use 2 hands to break this free. Just a good tip, guys. You want to make sure that whatever socket you're using, like this is a 6-point socket, you want to make sure that the bolt is also a 6-point. Using a 12-point socket on a 6-point bolt could ruin the edges of it. So we got those 4 out for the EGR. Now this is able to move freely, and you want to secure this gasket because you're going to need that again. And we can start taking out the 8mm bolts that hold on the upper intake. So we are going to use a smaller drive, an extension, and a long 8mm. Let's start with the one that's hidden under the intake here. What you can do is take off your hose, the vacuum hose. You should be able to pull yours right off. I had mine clamped down pretty tight because the motor was boosted, so boost pressure was being seen in this hose. Now you look right underneath it. You can take off this 8mm. That'll be the first one. This will be the second one. Third one. This is the fourth one. And you just work your way all the way around the manifold. You don't have to do this in an X pattern or anything like that. Alright, so far I'm actually counting 7 upper intake bolts, 4 short, 2 long, 5, 6, yeah, so this will be the 7th one and should be the last one. That's 7. Now we should be able to just pick it right up, move it out of the way. Just wanna get these off. So take a pair of pliers, and whichever side you want to remove, because this is a coolant line, just clamp it down, bring it on down. And that's it. Coolant line off, vacuum line off. And I'll just take this off of that end. Want to rather keep this on the intake so I don't lose it. It'll be easier to route that vacuum back when it's time to put it back on. So intake. Oh, I still have another hose on. That's another coolant line in and out. And now it is off. This part that's on the back is can't remember exactly what it's for, but it's very easily disconnected. We're just going to I have to unlock the car, but we're just going to rest it on the back here for now and continue taking off the lower intake. So you're going to need a 10mm 6-point. And if you guys are taking this off while it's on your vehicle, you're going to want to take this cap off and use a screwdriver and just push the valve, the Schrader valve, down so that you can release the pressure from it. But that's only if your motor is still in the car and it is running, or it was running recently. These injectors will be cleaned while I have the intake off. The intake will be clean, the upper intake will be clean because it's extremely dirty. I'm not sure what I'm gonna clean it with yet, but I'll record a video of me cleaning it so you guys will know how to do it. Alright, that's the last bolt for the fuel rail. And now what you want to do is unseat the injectors just by wiggling the rail, just like that. Same thing on this side, just wiggle them and they should come up. Okay, I had 2 of my injector hold downs fall off just now, so you want to be careful of that, especially when coming over the intake. So what I'll do is I'll lay the injectors back and just snake the hose under the EGR, just like that, so I don't lose anything else. I'm going to rest this down on the ground for now, and we are going to continue taking off the bolts for the lower intake manifold. So I'm going to start with these alternator brackets. All of them will be 10mm bolts. Uh-oh, drop one. So I'm going to keep these bolts with its bracket just so I don't mix them up. So those with their bracket. Now what I had to do, because the intake will not move unless you bend these tabs out of place, so what I did is that I took a flathead screwdriver, put it right in the hole for the bracket, and I just bent it away from the manifold. This one's going to be a bit tougher to get into. Once you get in, you can this is pretty bendable metal. You can get it bent right back into shape once you install the intake. So let's continue with the bolts. I'm going to remove these bolts in an X pattern, which means we're going to go from here to here to here to here, and then an X pattern inside the middle as well. Now what you want to do is just lift it and I might have to pry this EGR out the way a bit, but should be able to get it up. There it is. That's the lower intake. There's a lot of cleaning up to do in here. Remove this spring before it drops into the motor. Remove this clip. Like I said, I won't be doing any cleaning up today. I'll just be taking the intakes off. I'll take these gaskets as well. These are reusable. I'll probably put some silicone on them when I reinstall them. But that's the upper and lower intake manifold and how to remove it. Now what I can also show you is how to remove the injectors, because the injectors have these little clips in them, and if you take a flathead you can just pry them right off. Sometimes they're easy to get off, sometimes they're hard to get off depending on how they were put on. But these stop your injectors from coming off of the rail, so you want to secure those, and then you just twist and pull and the injector will pop right out. Like I said, I'm gonna have these injectors cleaned before we put the motor back together, and I'm also gonna be cleaning this rail to make sure it isn't clogged with anything. There we go. And there we have our fuel sensor. So I'm gonna put up these parts, and then I'm gonna see what else I can get done on this motor. Alright, so what I'm gonna be doing next is removing the covers for the spark plugs. They're hand tight, so they weren't that hard to get off. Let's remove the covers. I want to take the plugs out, so I'm going to remove the cover from the other side. Let's see if those are tightened down. So. Alright, we got the bolts out. Let's get to removing the plugs. Get these plugs out. Woo-hoo. There is water in there. Okay, plug is out. These are brand new plugs and they're already black. That's kind of shocking, but I'll rest them right here. Okay, so I think I found the problem. We have 4 of the plugs that are fouled out, and this plug here doesn't have anything on it. That's strange. Let's see if that continues on this side. That is super strange. If anyone can figure that out in the comments and let me know what they think that might be. I have 4 fouled out plugs that are brand new and 4 clean plugs that are brand new as well. The 4 fouled out plugs came from this side, the clean plugs from this side. So basically only half of the motor is running, or firing I should say. I have 4 fouled out plugs and 4 extremely clean plugs. Not sure exactly what that might mean, but I'd take a guess and say that only half of the motor is running, and if it is, it's kind of like building up fuel in those 4 cylinders. So it could be that 4 of the injectors weren't getting any signal, or 4 of the spark plugs isn't getting any signal. But we're gonna figure that out when we get the motor back together. Now it's time for the valve covers to come off, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bolts, and you just pop these wire harness pull this off, and they should come off pretty effortlessly. Now, there we go. Valve cover is off. I'll most likely be replacing this gasket and these as well. Let's just rest this down. The that milkiness that you guys see in the head, that's not a head gasket failure. That's because this motor was underwater and water got inside it, and I haven't flushed it as yet. But I did drain all of the water out and put in fresh oil. But the motor didn't have a chance to run as yet, so that's most likely what's why there's a little buildup in here. Alright, so everything seems to be tight and in place when it comes to the gears. So, time to pull this one. There we go. Came right off. Gasket's out. Gonna have to put this right in there. I'll definitely want to pressure wash the cams. Get all of this rust off of it from the salt water. I think there would be my issue. I have a chain that is broken. Yep, that would definitely cause a problem. Alright. We're gonna continue. We're gonna drain the oil so that I can flip the motor over so that no water builds in it. And it's just a 16mm. And I know this oil is gonna be muddy. Yeah, it's sludgy. Make sure the motor leans this way. Because water still was mixing with the oil. Yeah, this could definitely be why we're not getting any fire on those cams or on those cylinders, because these valves aren't opening on the top end or on the top cam, because it's not spinning. It's not spinning because the chain isn't on it. It's broken. So let me see if I can get this chain out. Yep. And its tension is coming out with it. Uh-oh. Yep, all kind of stuff just dropped down in the motor. So definitely we're gonna have to get a timing kit for it and replace it. So I have the motor upside down now on the lift, and I want to remove the oil pans bolts, which are 13mm bolts. Oh yeah, these are on pretty tight. So this is as far as I've gotten today. The oil pan is off, and down in the bottom end looks really good. I'm most likely going to replace this oil pump and also do a timing kit on it, just to make sure nothing else in the timing area comes free. And thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I'll catch you guys on the next one.